My wife filed for divorce. While I was out of the country, then she totally freaked out. Can you imagine landing at an airport, your world still spinning from a transcontinental flight, only to face a trembling figure who's unraveled your entire life? Picture David stepping off a plane from Seattle, his jaw set, eyes like steel, confronted by Emma, his wife of 8 years, wild with panic, her voice slicing through the terminal's hum. What happened? Why aren't you answering? Her betrayal had been surgical. A phone call declaring she's pregnant with another man's child, their condo and truck sold, divorce papers en route. But what if David wasn't the shattered husband she expected? What if, while she plotted, her escape? He was weaving a trap so precise it left her gasping. The air crackles with suspense as you wonder, how did he know her lies? What plans did he set in motion thousands of miles away? This isn't just a tale of infidelity. It's a high-stakes chess game where every move drips with cunning. Dive into a whirlwind of deception, calculated revenge, and the electrifying moment when a man reclaims his power, leaving you questioning, what would you do when trust turns to ash? She stood at the arrivals gate, wild-eyed and trembling, like a deer staring down headlights. Makeup smeared, lips quivering, brunette hair tied in a messy knot like she hadn't slept in days. Her voice cracked through the airport crowd. David, what happened? Why aren't you answering my calls? Where's your luggage? I adjusted the cuffs of my jacket, slid my phone into my coat pocket, and looked her dead in the eye. Everything went just as I planned. That's when her knees buckled, and she had to grab the railing to keep from falling. The woman who called me from my own house just 2 weeks earlier saying, "I'm leaving you for my lover and our unborn child," now looked like she'd seen a ghost. And maybe she had. The ghost of her own fuck-ups. Let's rewind. 2 weeks ago, I was on a business trip in Seattle. It was late. I'd just gotten out of a dinner with our Pacific Northwest partners, sitting on the hotel bed, sipping a glass of bourbon, when I saw her name light up my phone. Emma, my wife, the same woman I'd spent 8 years building a life with. The woman I'd trusted with my home, my heart, and every goddamn dream I had. I answered, smiling out of habit. "Hey babe." Silence. Then her voice, cold and emotionless. "David, I'm leaving you. I'm pregnant. It's his. I've sold the condo and the truck. You'll get the divorce papers tomorrow." I let the words wash over me like standing under ice water. I didn't say a thing, just sat there blinking, heartbeat slowing down. Then I said the only word I had in me. "All right." Click. I didn't throw the glass. I didn't scream. I didn't even cry, because the moment she hung up, something inside me clicked. Something dark, something focused. And for the first time in years, I felt calm. Ice-cold calm. Emma had always been good at faking things. Her laugh, her devotion, the way she'd compliment my ties before I left for work like clockwork. I thought I had a partner. Turns out I had a con artist living in my bed. And I didn't notice until I started noticing the late-night work calls. The lingerie I didn't recognize stuffed in the laundry bin. The texts she'd swipe away when I walked into the room. The whisper fights on the balcony at 1 a.m. I played dumb, but I was taking notes. And I wasn't just traveling for business. I was making plans, quiet plans. When she sold the condo, she thought she won. But I'd already signed over the deed to my holding company. Legally, she didn't sell anything. When she sold the truck, I'd already transferred ownership to my business partner, Mark, 2 weeks prior. I'd moved most of our savings and locked the rest in a legal trust. She never checked. She was too busy chasing her new dream life. Her lover, some guy named Ethan, a failed boxer turned personal trainer. Real genius, had a mugshot from 2021, assault charge. She met him at the gym. Of course she did. He whispered sweet nothings into her ear while she spotted his reps, and she believed every word. Probably told her he'd open a protein shake line with her or some trash like that. She thought she had the upper hand until I landed back in JFK. Until she saw my cold stare. until she realized something was deeply wrong. Because when I walked past her that day, brushed past her fake crocodile tears and the crowd of confused onlookers, I didn't stop. I just kept walking, and then she followed me. David, wait. What do you mean as planned? What are you talking about? I stopped, turned around slowly and said, I knew months ago. You're not good at hiding your lies, Emma. I let you dig your own grave. You're not the one leaving me. I let you go. That was the first crack. She stared at me, pupils shrinking, lower lip twitching. What do you mean you knew? You knew what? I smiled. Everything. Ethan, the pregnancy, the fake real estate deal, the offshore transfer to that joke of a brokerage account. She gasped. Her entire face collapsed. How did you? I stepped closer. Because I'm not the idiot you married. I just played one. She didn't even try to speak after that, just stood there as I walked away again, my phone already buzzing with a call from Mark. Yo, Dave, we good? I smiled. We're good. Phase 2 starts now. I got in the black SUV that Mark sent to pick me up and didn't look back. Through the tinted glass, I caught a glimpse of her pacing, hands flailing, hair coming undone, mouth moving, but no words reaching me. She looked like a stranded actress, left alone on stage after the audience had gone home. Where to, boss? The driver asked. Downtown, straight to the firm. As the city rolled by, I finally allowed myself to feel something. Not pain, not sadness, something colder, satisfaction. The kind that comes when you realize you're not the fool in the story. You're the one writing it. I spent the next 2 hours in my lawyer's office, signing the final batch of papers that would strip her of everything she thought she stole. The condo already locked under litigation. The sold truck reported. Fraud case incoming. The joint accounts emptied legally before she ever touched them. The unborn child, if it even existed, I wanted a paternity test the moment it breathed air. She underestimated me. Most people do when you're the calm type, the one who says less and watches more. But Emma, she made a career out of underestimating me. She weaponized her beauty like a blade. I used to love how she walked into a room and made it hers. I didn't know back then. She was scanning the room for targets. It all made sense now. The change in perfume, the long drives that didn't match up with the gym's location. That one night, I woke up to her not in bed at 3 a.m., just to find her sitting in the car, engine running, staring blankly at her phone like she was waiting for a message she couldn't afford to miss. That wasn't confusion. That was guilt. The mistake she made wasn't the betrayal. It was thinking I'd break, thinking I'd beg, thinking I'd cry and chase her like some sitcom husband she saw on TV. She didn't realize I'd spent the last 6 months building an exit. Quietly, patiently, I moved back into my apartment that night. The one I kept on the side. The one she didn't know about. The one with a view over the river and a wall of untouched scotch that felt like it had been waiting for this moment. Poured a glass and opened my laptop. Emma had emailed me 5 times in the last hour. Subject, I'm sorry. Please talk to me. Subject, can we just meet and talk about this like adults? Subject, I was scared. I didn't know what to do. The woman who screamed, I'm leaving you for my lover and our unborn child, had now changed her tune to, I didn't mean it like that. Amazing how fast the game flips when you take away the pieces. I didn't reply. Instead, I watched the security footage. Yeah, I installed cameras in the condo months ago quietly, one by one. She never noticed. She was too busy thinking about Ethan and whatever sleazy fantasies they whispered in gym locker rooms. In one of the clips, 2 days before her call, I saw them together in our kitchen, her perched on the counter in one of my shirts, legs wrapped around him like it was their home. He had tattoos crawling up his neck and a smugness that only came from thinking he'd won. He hadn't won. He walked into a trap so perfectly set, he didn't even know he was dinner. The next day, Ethan got a call from one of my PI friends, a fake business offer, cross-country deal, big money. I wanted him distracted and out of the state. He took the bait. People like him always do. He left 3 days after her call, which meant when she showed up at the airport, panicked and alone, he wasn't even answering her texts anymore. He was probably already in Vegas, wondering why his big deal meeting never showed. He was ghosted by me. Poetic justice. Later that night, around midnight, I heard the buzzer ring. I checked the camera. It was her. Hair soaked from the rain, clutching a purse, eyes red, voice barely audible through the speaker. "David, please. Just 5 minutes. Please." I didn't answer. She waited 20 minutes before slumping against the door, sobbing into her hands, mumbling something I couldn't make out. Maybe it was regret. Maybe it was just panic. Either way, I poured another drink and turned the volume down. You see, when someone shows you who they are, don't just believe them. Record it. Build your case. Be silent. Be still. And when the time comes, burn the whole damn stage down. And that was just the start. The next morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls from her, 4 voicemails. One of them was mostly her crying and whispering, "I'm so sorry," as if repeating it would undo everything. Another was her yelling at someone in the background. I'm guessing her sister, or maybe even Ethan if he finally picked up. Her voice cracked when she screamed, "I don't know what he did, but he's not answering me. He's gone." Good. Let her feel the silence I lived with for months, watching her drift further away while lying through those glossy lips. I played her voicemails, on loop, while getting dressed for the meeting with the legal team handling the fraud case. The sound of her unraveling was music to my ears. As I buttoned my shirt, another call buzzed in. Unknown number. I ignored it. 10 seconds later, another voicemail dropped. Curious, I played it. "David, it's me. Please, just let me talk. You don't understand. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. Ethan, he left. He said he can't deal with the drama. He took my card. I don't have anything left. Please just meet me." Now she wanted a meeting. Now, after she gutted my life. From thousands of miles away over a phone call, now she wanted to talk. I didn't respond. Instead, I drove to my office, met with my legal team, and handed them the file I'd been building for months. Screenshots, phone records, financial trails. Her name tied to every stupid move she thought was genius. I wanted her to feel trapped, cornered in the mess she made with no more lies to crawl under. Afterward, I took a walk around the block, thinking I'd feel lighter. I didn't. Truth is, even when you win, when you outsmart them, crush them with their own betrayal, it doesn't feel like a victory. It feels like confirmation that the person you loved, built a life with, was just a mask. And now you get to meet the face beneath it. That night, she showed up again. This time not crying. This time angry. "David, open the damn door. You think you're some kind of genius. You think you can just leave me like this. I gave you years. I gave you everything." I watched through the peephole as she slammed her fist against the door, rage replacing the fake tears. There she was, the real her, not the sweet, smiling wife, the monster under the makeup. That's who she really was. A liar, a manipulator, a woman who only felt something when it was slipping out of her grip. "I'll tell everyone you abused me," she screamed. "I'll ruin you." I opened the door. Just a crack, enough for her to see the smile on my face. Already sent out the documents, security footage, emails, bank statements. "If you want to go public, I'll make you famous." Her face dropped. I watched the fury drain from her eyes, replaced by something even better. Fear. She didn't speak, just turned, walked away slowly like her legs were made of lead. That was the last time she came to my door. The next day, I got an email from her lawyer asking to settle amicably. No apologies, no admissions, just the legal version of waving a white flag. They offered to walk away from everything. No condo, no truck, no support, nothing. I forwarded the email to my lawyer with 2 words: finish her. This wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about justice. about standing up from the wreckage. She tried to leave me in and saying, "Not this time." But that night, as I sat on the balcony sipping from the same bottle I opened when I got back, I let myself feel it all again. The love I used to feel for her. The weekends spent watching movies, in bed, the quiet breakfasts, the holidays we spent with her family, all fake, all gone. How do you mourn someone who's still alive? How do you bury a love that died while the body kept walking around, smiling at you, lying to your face? I didn't have the answer, but I knew one thing. I'd never love like that again. A week passed. She stopped calling. Instead, she started posting Instagram stories full of fake smiles, beach shots with captions like "new beginnings," "sunrise," and "some people weren't meant to stay in your life forever." I didn't even follow her anymore. My assistant sent me screenshots. She thought she was in control again, that if she painted a perfect enough picture, the truth wouldn't matter. But truth has a way of leaking through the cracks. And hers was crumbling fast. The gym she worked at shut her out. Once word got around about Ethan's record and the internal theft we traced back to her little protein shake scam, the owners had no choice. Clients stopped coming, people talk, trainers gossip, and women like Emma, they can't survive without attention. I heard she moved in with a friend, then out, then back with her mother. Meanwhile, the lawsuit moved forward slowly, quietly, but surely. One night around 2 a.m., I got a call from an old number. Chris, her brother, a guy I always got along with until she poisoned him against me with her lies. I let it ring 4 times, then picked up. "David," he said, voice low. "I know this is out of line, man, but I needed to say something." I waited. "She's not okay. She's not eating. She's not talking to anyone. She's falling apart." I lit a cigarette, something I hadn't done in years, and I asked, "She made mistakes, bro, but she's still my sister." "I get that," I said, "but you don't know half of what she did." "I know enough," he said. "I saw the footage. That caught me off guard. She showed you." I asked. "No," he said. "I hacked her laptop when she crashed at my place. I saw the way she let him treat your condo like his, the things she said about you when she thought no one was listening. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry for everything." There was a long silence. "Thanks," I said finally. "That means something." He didn't push, didn't beg for forgiveness on her behalf, just hung up. And weirdly, it hit me harder than her crying, at my door. Maybe because it reminded me she was human. A horrible, lying, manipulative human, but still one with a family, a past, a story just like me. We weren't so different, her and I, except I didn't burn the people who loved me to the ground. The next day, I got an email from her. No subject, just a single line. "I found out the baby wasn't his. No hello, no apology, just that." I didn't respond. Not because I didn't care, but because I'd finally reached that strange, rare place where your feelings go silent. Not numbness, not hatred, just nothing. I looked at her words and they didn't move me. They were just letters on a screen, like a stranger's message that accidentally found its way into my inbox. I closed the laptop and left the apartment for a walk. That night, I found myself outside the old bookstore she used to love. The one with the dusty air and the sleepy jazz playing low in the background. I don't even know why I walked in. Maybe habit, maybe curiosity, maybe some part of me was trying to prove that her ghost didn't own me anymore. Inside, nothing had changed. The same old man behind the counter, the same shelves, the same quiet peace. I picked up a copy of a book she once made me read. A romance, novel she cried over. I remembered pretending to hate it just to make her laugh. I remembered the way her head used to rest on my chest when we read on Sundays. I remembered all the things I wish I could forget. And then I put the book back and walked out without buying anything, because the past, it's just a story, and I'm not in that chapter anymore. But she is, and that's her punishment. 2 months later, I saw her again. Not in person, not through a call, on the news. It wasn't front page, just a 2-minute segment buried in the late-night local broadcast. Some small-time fitness influencer caught in a financial dispute with clients over fake wellness products. Lawsuits pending. One name stood out in bold on the screen. Emma Stone. She looked thinner. Dark circles under her eyes. That glow she used to weaponize was gone. Makeup couldn't cover the fatigue. Her smile looked like it had been stapled on, like someone told her to act confident but forgot to give her the lines. She tried to spin it, of course. Said it was a misunderstanding, that she was transitioning out of the business and focusing on personal wellness. I turned the TV off before the anchor finished the segment. Let her spin. Let her dance. Let her bury herself in lies until she forgets what truth even felt like. I was done playing audience, but life has a twisted sense of humor. A week after that, I ran into Ethan at a gas station of all places. I was on the way to meet a client out of town, pulled over for snacks and a coffee, and there he was. Same dumb tribal tattoo snaking down his arm, tight tee, fake swagger. He didn't notice, me at first. Was too busy flirting with the cashier, trying to get a discount on some energy bars. It would have been funny if it wasn't so pathetic. Then he turned. We locked eyes, and for a split second, he froze. I didn't move, didn't blink, just stared at him like he was already erased from my memory. He walked over slow, like he wanted to pretend it was casual. Yo, David, right? I sipped my coffee. Didn't expect you back in the state. He scratched the back of his neck. Yeah, Vegas was not what I thought it would be. No kidding. There was an awkward pause. He tried to smirk. Guess things didn't work out with Emma the way either of us expected. I said nothing. She told me it was over between you two before anything happened. He added quickly. Just so you know. I raised an eyebrow. Right, because you were really the honorable type. He chuckled, like we were old buddies catching up. Look, man, it was just bad timing. She said a lot of things. I didn't know she was, playing both of us. I finished my coffee, tossed the cup in the bin, and stepped closer. She played you because you were easy and dumb and cheap. You were a rebound fantasy. She thought she could build a new life with you, and you swallowed it. Because you thought having her meant you won something. He tried to laugh it off. Whatever, man. It's in the past. No, I said. You're still living in it. I moved on. You're still chasing discounts and validation. I turned around and walked away without looking back. And it felt good. Not angry. Good. Not revenge. Good. Just done. That night, I got home, poured myself a glass of scotch, and stared out the window of my new place, downtown loft, clean lights, big windows, no traces of her. My life didn't end when she left. It started. All those years I spent trying to be enough for someone who was never satisfied. Gone. I was building again. A business, a new circle of people, a piece I'd forgotten existed. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like a man trying to prove something. I just felt like myself. A few days later, I got an invitation in the mail. Thick envelope, handwritten, perfumed. I didn't need to open it to know who it was from. Emma. Inside was a card that looked like it. Came from one of those overpriced boutique stores she used to drag me into. Cream-colored, gold foil, and a script font that screamed, "Look how refined I am. Let's meet. Just talk. No lawyers, no anger, just us one last time. No return address, just a time, a date, and a place. Our old coffee shop. The one where we met 10 years ago when she spilled an iced latte on my laptop and laughed like it was the funniest thing in the world. Back when her eyes still had warmth in them. Back when I still believed in people like her. I shouldn't have gone, but I did. Not because I missed her. Not because I wanted closure. I don't believe in that word anymore. I went because I wanted to look her in the eye and see for myself what she'd become. She was already there when I walked in, hair pinned up, that expensive trench coat I bought her last Christmas, red lipstick she wore when she wanted something. She looked up from her cappuccino and smiled like nothing had happened. David, she said, standing up as if we were old friends. I sat down, said nothing. She took a slow sip and sighed like this was all very difficult for her. I'm glad you came. Get to the point, I said. Her smile faded just a little. You don't have to be cruel. No, I don't, but I'm not here for kindness. She leaned forward. I've made mistakes. I know that. I got caught up in things and someone who promised me something better, and I was stupid and selfish. I stared at her. She continued, voice low. I thought you didn't love me anymore. You were so distant, always working, always somewhere else. I almost laughed. So you fixed it by climbing on top of a gym rat in my kitchen. Her eyes flickered. It wasn't like that. No, I said, because I've got video footage that says it was exactly like that. Silence. She blinked fast, looked away. I didn't come here to fight. Then what did you come for? She hesitated, bit her lip. Then, just like always, her tone changed. Softer, almost pleading. I miss you. I smiled. I miss how you made me feel, like everything made sense, like I mattered. You mattered, I said. You just didn't like the kind of mattering that comes with loyalty and patience. You wanted fireworks, drama, someone who made your blood rush and your brain stop working. She looked like she might cry. Ethan was a mistake. Ethan was your choice, and so was every lie that came after. Then she did cry. Quiet tears, no wailing, just soft weeping into her napkin. People looked. I didn't care. She wiped her face. Do you hate me? No, I said honestly. I don't. Her eyes lit up for half a second. I don't feel anything. That killed it. She looked away, stared out the window like she could escape through the glass. I thought maybe with time you'd forgive me, that we could. We can't. But I'm not with him anymore, she whispered. I know, I said. He's not. With you either. She looked back at me like she wanted to scream. Instead, she nodded. I deserve that. I stood up, left a 20 on the table, even though I hadn't ordered anything. She looked up at me one last time. Is this really it? I leaned down slightly, close enough for only her to hear. You sent me divorce papers while I was away, told me you were pregnant with another man's kid, sold my condo and my truck, and then you panicked because I didn't beg. What did you think would happen? Her lip trembled. She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. I turned and walked out. The sun was setting. The air smelled like rain. I felt clean, lighter. Behind me, the door jingled as it closed, and so did that chapter of my life. A few weeks passed. No calls, no emails, no sudden appearances at my door. Just quiet. I guess even she finally understood when the door was truly closed. But even when someone's gone, they leave fingerprints on everything. I'd catch myself at stoplights glancing at the passenger seat like she'd be there fixing her makeup. Or I'd walk into a store and hear a song she used to hum while cleaning the kitchen. Ghosts. Not the kind that haunt with screams, but the quiet ones. The kind that settle in your ribs and exhale only when the world slows down. I didn't hate her. I didn't wish her harm. But I didn't wish her peace either, because peace is earned. And some people try to steal it like it's owed to them. One night, Mark and I were having drinks at a rooftop bar downtown, city lights glowing below us, the hum of traffic like a soft reminder that life keeps moving whether you're ready or not. He raised his glass to me. Honestly, man, he said, you handled that whole thing like a king. Most guys would have lost their damn minds. I smiled. Maybe I did, just quietly. He laughed. Still, you crushed it. The legal stuff, the way you stayed calm. You even made the Ethan dude disappear like a magician. I didn't do anything magical, I said. I just let her walk into the fire she built for me. Mark took a sip and looked out over the skyline. You ever think about starting over? Like, really starting over? I nodded slowly. Yeah, I think about it. Anyone new? I shook my head. Not yet. I'm not ready to trust someone with that part of me. He leaned back, studying me. You ever think maybe part of you still wants her to say something? To come clean for real? Apologize the right way. I didn't answer right away, just stared into my drink. I don't need her apology, I said finally. What I needed was never to be lied to like I didn't matter. Mark nodded, said nothing more. That night, I walked home instead of taking an Uber. Just needed the air. The streets were quiet, clean, almost cinematic. My footsteps echoing off the concrete, each one pulling me further from who I used to be. And then, out of nowhere, I saw her again. Not in person, on a park bench, on a billboard. Her face, from an old ad campaign for a wellness retreat she tried to launch before everything fell apart. The retreat never happened. The investors pulled out. Lawsuits piled in, but someone forgot to take the sign down. She was smiling in it, backlit by fake sunlight, glowing with that same charm that once hooked me so fast I couldn't breathe. I stood there staring at it for a long time. Then I walked over, pulled out a pen from my coat, and wrote across the bottom. Nothing heals if you keep lying. I stepped back, looked at it, felt nothing, and walked away. 6 months later, life felt unfamiliar, but in the best way possible, like moving into a house that finally fits your shape. No footsteps in the hallway at midnight, no lies folded into pillow talk, just silence, peace, the kind you don't realize you missed until it fills the cracks. My business had doubled. New clients, bigger deals. I hired people I trusted, people who didn't smile with knives in their pockets. My mornings were mine again. Gym, coffee, a view over the city that didn't feel lonely anymore. Just honest. One day, I got a letter in the mail. No return address, just my name in handwriting I hadn't seen in months. Inside was a single page. No Dear David, no Love Emma, just black ink on cream paper. You were right about everything. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I think about what I did every day. Not because I lost you, but because I lost who I was supposed to be. No signature. I folded it once, set it on the table, didn't tear it up, didn't frame it, just let it sit. Later that night, I walked out to the balcony and lit a candle. Not for her, for closure, for what we had, for what I survived. And I realized something I hadn't said out loud until that moment. She didn't break me. She freed me from the illusion, from the game, from the quiet war I didn't even know. I'd been fighting. And for the first time in years, I smiled. Not because I won, but because I finally stopped playing a game I never wanted to be part of. So if you're reading this, if you've ever felt the weight of betrayal on your chest like a cinder block, you're not alone. And no matter how bad it feels right now, no matter how deep the cut, you heal. Not overnight, not easily, but you do. And when you finally do, you'll thank the version of yourself that chose to walk away, even when your heart was still begging to stay. When the facade of love crumbles, revealing a labyrinth of lies, the truest liberation lies in choosing yourself over the ruins. David's saga, sparked by Emma's cold betrayal, her audacious claim to his condo, truck, and future while he was in Seattle, unveils a profound truth. Betrayal doesn't break you, it exposes what was already fractured. His calculated response, dismantling her schemes with legal precision and icy resolve, teaches us that strength isn't in loud vengeance, but in silent strategy. Emma's downfall wasn't just her infidelity with Ethan, it was her arrogance, believing David would collapse under her deceit. The lesson? Trust your instincts when the signs, late-night texts, unfamiliar scents, whispered calls, pile up. Protect your worth fiercely. No one else will. David's refusal to engage with her tearful pleas or her brother's appeals underscores another truth. Closure comes from within, not from those who wounded you. His advice resonates. Document everything, move decisively, and let go without looking back. Life's deepest wounds heal when you refuse to let betrayal define you. David's final walk past Emma's fading billboard, marked with his stark truth, reminds us that victory isn't in her suffering, but in your own rebirth. Step away from the ashes, rebuild with purpose, and embrace the peace of a life untainted by those who never deserved your trust.